Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various legal issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning.
Tom, one of the challenges that we have in this environment is whenever you have a business, many times there is an attempt of people to sort of change a legal business into sort of a retail business. And one of the challenges that I know that you're having in Pennsylvania is consortiums of nursing homes have created sort of these Medicaid service bureaus. Tell us what that looks like.
Well, it looks like a friendly referral from the nursing home to a group with a nice name, and their job is going to be to help the family get eligible for benefits.
And by the way, stay away from that expensive lawyer.
That's the next sentence. And so the reality is it's just a branch of the nursing home, and instead of guiding you and protecting things, they're guiding you and spending things as fast as possible.
And one of the things that you'll get this impression is, well, they're not charging you anything to do this. Well, actually they can't because it's a practice of law without a license. So right out of the gate, you ought to be a little suspicious. Yeah. In the meantime, they're basically telling everybody very nicely, not directly in the nursing home building, that, we're here to help you and there's nothing you can do. So we're just going to let you give all that money to the nursing home. And when you're done, we'll help you with that application.
Right. And it's no different than if, the nursing home was telling you, just spend your money, we'll take care of you. It's free. Don't worry about it. But meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of dollars later, you might be broke.
Well, and this is particularly troubling when you deal with married couples, as we've talked about in the past. The law is designed to protect married couples.
Sure.
So any married couple out there watching this show, or a friend or family member that is involved in this, they should understand that the law is designed to protect that healthy spouse. And any advice that you're getting that would suggest that there's nothing that you can do but spend down this money is just absolutely not in your interest.
Right, and that's probably the most important message someone can receive from this show is there's always something we can do. And so for married couples, we're trying to protect, and the law is geared towards protecting the healthy spouse at home so they don't go broke and spend all their money.
And yet the nursing home really wants them to spend those private dollared monies, and so the reality is they're not your friend. They're in fact putting that healthy spouse at risk by spending money unnecessarily on the first spouse's care, which directly compromises the security of the healthy spouse.
Well, that's a good point, because if a couple's used to living on $200,000 and that's their nest egg, if all of a sudden $100,000 of it gets spent, well, that dramatically impacts the well-being of the healthy spouse.
So using your example there, house, $200,000 in savings, if they came into either of our offices, depending on what state they were institutionalized in, a married couple, we'd expect to have them eligible for benefits in less than 2 months and have protected that $200,000.
That's a good point. And so, instead of the nursing home saying, we'll help you and you spend $100,000, we can protect it and save that for that healthy spouse.
And then unfortunately, we see some of the nursing homes, which I view as just completely unscrupulous, not only not telling people that, you could protect the entire $200,000, but actually letting them spend the entire $200,000, which even under any set of rules is absolutely not necessary.
Yeah, that's unconscionable. And when you know that you can protect it and for them to allow you to do it, that is nothing more than pure greed.
followed by, we see some of them in this area also telling the married couple they have to sell their house, which is just, once again, absolutely not true.
Right, and these folks, I mean, they may be nice people, but they know these rules and they know what we do. And so when they don't make that referral, they're making a decision to try to impoverish that family.
And, and unfortunately, as I say somewhat about a lot of the business environment we deal with is run by the MBAs, and the MBAs only have one goal, and that is to maximize profits and really to extract money out of your pocket.
Right, I mean, you're seeing a lot of hedge funds buying up these nursing home chains and companies, and so, again, their bottom line is profit, not the well-being of the community.
And of course, with a single person case, we use just a rule of thumb is that you can basically protect about 50% of the assets. And yet if you deal with the nursing home affiliated institutions or at the nursing home themselves, they will tell you it is illegal to make a transfer within 5 years of going in a nursing home, which means you're here, we get all of your money, which is, once again, absolutely not necessary.
That's right, it's false. And so that is something that, single people need to investigate. If they want to impoverish themselves, well, the nursing home will help them. But the rules allow you to protect yourself, protect your nest egg.
And, people say it's illegal. It's not, and it's just a misinterpretation of the rules, which is then perpetuated by institutions that gain by that perception. And so, as we tell people every day, they're afraid to come see a lawyer. They've heard somebody's going to charge them 10 grand to come have a meeting or something. We're going to sit down and talk with you. You can spend an hour or two. We're going to tell you exactly what your options are. And those options are almost always better than what you're being told.
Right, and so it's in my mind a good idea to know what the full facts and the truth is, rather than half facts, half truths that most facilities will promulgate.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Save Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lough to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to a special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Rod MacRae, Information Officer, Washington County Department of Health. Welcome to the show, Rod.
Thank you very much.
Now, in terms of the health department, you're very focused not so much on providing care, which in one sense used to be a goal, but really educating the public and planning for health issues.
That's very, very true. Our focus is mainly prevention, community health, which involves large populations as opposed to individuals, and helping people to maximize the resources that they have.
And of course, we have a lot of different providers, but those providers are really focused on what's sitting in front of them. And part of the health department's responsibility is to take a step back and take a little more global view of the issue.
Exactly so. It can make us seem kind of hard-hearted sometimes, but we tend to focus on entire populations rather than individuals within it.
Now, it's very interesting. For a long time, in terms of the flu vaccinations, your organization ended up being a primary provider of it. But as these other providers have stepped up and done it, you guys are glad to get out of that business.
We are, and not glad to get out of it because we're glad to not do the work, but rather glad to get out of it because it's become so pervasive. It's been much more convenient for individuals to get their vaccinations. They don't have to go to a special location. They don't have to wait in line forever sometimes, especially when they're not as capable as some parts of the population of waiting that long. So we're quite happy with it.
And of course, a lot of the major food chains as well as pharmacies are actually assist in making sure that the insurance covers it and so forth, and they're doing it as a very valuable public service to the community.
It is. It's cost beneficial for them, of course, which is admirable, but it's also something that makes something that's important so widely available.
And so the old days of the clinics and having to go when you guys were doing it is not nearly as prevalent as it once was.
It's not, and we're quite happy about that. Although, to be quite honest with you, we actually enjoyed doing them. It was sort of like an agency-wide endeavor. Everybody got together and worked as one for 1, 2, 3 days out of the year.
Of course, now you can just almost drop in at many of these facilities, and you can get your shot there. It doesn't require a lot of planning; just requires a commitment.
Exactly so, and not really much of that because you're already there.
Right, right. Now, when we talk about the flu, even though we're airing here in January, it's not over yet.
No, it's not. No, typically the flu season, as we consider it, runs from about the beginning of October through, say, the end of March. It's when it's most prevalent, and so I would encourage people, if they've not been vaccinated, that it's never too late.
And there's this perception that it isn't as big a problem as it once was, but part of that is because of lots of people getting vaccinated, it improves the chance of not having it be a big problem.
That's true. That's very correct. And it's something that people tend to live with as a risk without realizing the consequences that can be quite dramatic and severe. And you never know, as you get older, you develop conditions that make you more susceptible to severe outcomes of infections of any sort, and so I think people need to bear that in mind.
And of course, from time to time, the health department, along with the feds, have recognized that there was a threat. We remember when we had sort of an abnormal one come up out of South America versus its normal, and a big rush was made to get people treated. It turned out not to be a big deal as in people's minds, but actually it's because a lot of people got a supplemental flu shot.
Well, that's true, and that was, I think, if I'm correct, you're referring to 2009 with the swine flu that basically came up out of Mexico. The great concern at that time was that the mortality rate in Mexico was very high for any number of reasons that aren't prevalent in this country. And it turned out that, fortunately, many people who are older, and I count myself among them, had been exposed to a similar virus, and at that time, the vaccinations were basically being given to the young people.
And of course, this is a constantly variable illness. People don't realize it's not one and done. It's constantly mutating, and so every year the scientists have to try to estimate what the impact is likely to be, which is most likely strain that we're going to have to deal with.
Sure, that's correct. It does mutate rather rapidly, being a virus for reasons that are far too complicated to get into here, but every year, a new strain will emerge. They do try to formulate the vaccine so that it will target the 3 most prevalent that they anticipate for that season, and they're usually pretty good about it.
And the interesting thing is even though sometimes they don't hit it quite on, most of the time it's close to the virus that's coming, and you will still reduce the severity of the illness.
Yes, that's quite correct. And that's something that's a benefit, even if you're not completely and totally protected, but it's a side benefit of the vaccination.
And in the last 10 seconds here, do you get the flu from the vaccine?
No, you do not. Usually, I think what happens is that people have already been infected when they get the vaccination, and it takes about 2 weeks for the antibody response to kick in, so it's just unfortunate timing.
Rod, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
As always, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquillity at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquillity, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquillity at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Dad, there's the big one. There's the big one. Just wait. There's the monster. Just one more bid on hurleyauctions.com. I got it.
If you haven't visited hurleyauctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at hurleyauctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Bridget Keefe, Community Relations Director, Tranquillity of Fredericktown. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Bridget, lots of exciting things happening at Tranquillity.
Indeed, yes. We're expanding. That's the biggest, the expansion, new memory care.
One of the nice things about your new memory care facility, like in a lot of facilities built 10 years ago, they didn't really focus on dementia, and yet the recognition is that's one of the principal drivers for why people need to go to assisted living in a confined care environment. And so the new facility that you're building is totally dedicated to dementia.
It is, and totally dedicated really to the mid and advanced stages of dementia as well, while we're helping people still be independent.
And so you have 113 beds when you're fully licensed up for that, so you're still going to have 80% of your population in the general population, and you will still endeavor to keep them out of the dementia unit to the extent possible.
We will, because the research shows the longer you can keep people independent, the better their cognitive abilities are.
And so yet the facility that you have is going to look just like the rest of it, beautiful apartments. People will still have a lot of flexibility, a lot of independence, but within the fact that they do need to be in a lockdown facility.
Right, but I don't think they'll even realize it's locked, honestly.
All right, and so as you look at that, then it'll allow people to stay in place, and also to the extent possible, because I do like the 80-30 model, 80-20 models, because it does allow people to stay in the general population as long as they're safe.
It does, and it also, as you said, it allows them someplace to go if their needs change.
All right, well, let's bring up a few pictures here, because I know the first thing that happens is when you say assisted living, people hear nursing home.
Right, and that looks like a hotel to me.
Right. Yeah, it's a hotel in a lot of senses, because part of hotels is a lobby bar sometimes, and you guys have cocktail hours.
We certainly do. We have them all the time. Yep.
All right, and it says does not mean loss of independence. It means being as independent as you can be within the context of your current needs.
That's right, and you can see there we have a bistro set up and a beautiful dining area, so it'll make people, I think, feel good to be there.
And that's the goal, and then we bring them some special activities as well.
We do. This is our Shetland pony who comes to visit, and he was abused, so it helps him to be loved on by our residents.
So they enjoy having the pony, and pony enjoys being around.
Yes, it's mutually beneficial.
It looks like we have some fun here. I hope that is not from your beauty shop.
No, that is not. That is after one of our famous cocktail hours, and that's Crazy Hair Day. Yep.
All right, but you do have a beauty shop.
We do have a beauty shop. We do, full service.
All right, and so people can get their needs taken care of while they're there.
Yes, indeed.
And then, of course, one of the things that used to be when you dealt with assisted living, that there was a very limited amount of medical services that could be delivered in that environment. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
Well, we have a medical director who's a geriatric physician. We also have registered nurses. We have physical, occupational, and speech therapy on site. A podiatrist does rounds, and we even have geriatric psychiatric services.
And then, of course, how about dietary management?
We do. Our food is certified and signed off on by a nutritionist and a dietitian.
So people who have specific dietary needs can be addressed while they're there.
Right.
And then who's administering the medications as a rule?
We have certified med techs who are supervised by the registered nurses.
You said something earlier, the physical therapy, occupational therapy, which now can be covered under Part A of Medicare even though they're in your facility.
100% covered as long as the person's improving.
All right, and so whereas in the past that was not an option in assisted living, but those are changes that we're now seeing.
They are, and in fact our therapists, even if they discharge someone, still, because they're on site, can keep an eye on them, and if they start to backslide, pick them up again.
Okay, and then of course you have some level 3, which involves some very sophisticated medical treatments that were not previously allowed in assisted living as well.
Right. Certain kinds of feeding tubes, ostomy bags, that sort of catheters.
Okay, so basically we tell people every day this assumption that my loved one has to be in a nursing home should never be accepted without exploring the opportunity to see if they could perhaps be in assisted living.
Yeah, I would say that's the first step.
Bridget, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on our program.
Thanks, Mike.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation, through its scholarship programs and through its strategic grants, has been a positive influence for change.
Last year, change in Frederick County was influenced thanks to nearly 1,800 caring donors. Everyone can help. Your influence is key.
Help us proactively focus on where we need to be investing our energy in the future.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Ed Lough, financial advisor, Northwestern Mutual Life. Welcome to the show, Ed.
Thank you.
First of all, what's a financial advisor?
Well, it's someone who's taken a lot of extra courses within our industry to be certified to be a financial advisor.
So it's a commitment.
It's a big commitment. I think I took 9 tests in February this year.
All right, and then the second thing about my introduction, you made reference to Northwestern as a mutual. What does that mean?
Well, that means the client actually is an owner in the company and they share in the excess profits of that company through dividends.
And so we see those dividends, whether it be life insurance products, disability products, but you're an owner, so you participate.
You do participate, absolutely.
As opposed to stock companies, which means the excess profits go to their shareholders.
You just go to the stock owners only, and with a mutual company, those dividends are used to increase cash values and buy additional life insurance.
You know, Ed, you and I have had a long history of addressing what we consider to be a huge problem in the retirement community, and that is the predatory sale of annuities.
Oh, yes, certainly in the senior market, particularly with many of those annuity contracts that have years and years of surrender fees.
Now, you know, how can it be a negative? I bought this policy and it said I got a 6% bonus. That sounds to me like I made 6%.
Well, you do get that 6% bonus that first year only if later on you annuitize the contract to an income. If you surrender that contract to take your full cash value, that bonus is lost. They take it away from you.
Not only do they take it away, but then you really find out that the commissions charged in these annuity products are obscured. Anytime I ask a client, what was the commission that was paid on this product? They said, well, I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. I said, I assumed that you knew that somebody was getting paid something. Yes, I did, but did you have any idea how much?
No, a lot of cases, most cases actually, they don't really have any idea what the commission schedule would be. And a lot of times too, the fees aren't really discussed in length.
So what you can find, though, is there is a correlation between the early withdrawal charges and the probable commissions that got paid or fees that got paid. So when you look at sort of the middle run ones, you'll see 8% is oftentimes an early withdrawal charge. May take 8 years before the whole thing goes away. And then they're still playing games with the bonus. But it really means if you gave them $100,000, you cashed in the first year, you might only get $92,000 back.
That's very true because the bonus is gone and then you've got that 8% surrender fee. And I've actually seen surrender fees on many of these products, Mike, that actually go as far as 15 years.
And much higher than 8%. I was just using sort of the middle of the road awful as opposed to what's really awful.
Yeah, what's really awful is when you get into the double digits, and you know, I've seen those as well.
And you know, these companies, you know, they get your money, they tie it up for 8 to 10 years, and a lot of the people selling these things and these companies selling them, well, they're not content to only get one bite out of the apple. So oftentimes they'll come back to you and say, well, we have a new product, and this new product has yet a higher bonus. And yet what it really is doing the same smoke and mirrors, and so you end up with them essentially getting the early withdrawal charges on the previous one and whacking you again.
That's correct, and what they'll do is they'll have you with X company with the original contract, they'll come in with Y company that says that this is a better deal, it's got a bigger bonus, it pays a higher interest rate, et cetera, and they just simply move that from contract to contract. And I've seen it done in the past where every 3 or 4 years folks have had their annuities moved from one company to the other.
And had substantial losses. And yet, interestingly enough, these companies will send a statement that says it has a contract value. Well, the contract value would take, if like your Social Security check of $1,000 a month, and it would total up that you have a life expectancy of 15 years, and it'll send you a statement saying it's worth $180,000. But if you cashed it in, it wasn't anywhere close to that.
Well, no, that's again because of the surrender fees. You're not going to get that. There's, a lot of times there's 2 columns. There's the cash column, and then there's the net or the surrender value of that contract.
And so what we're cautioning people every day is that these are by far the most expensive investment vehicles out there. There's no smoke and mirrors is going to change that.
No, and in the senior market, if you're buying this product, say at age 70, and you've got an 8 or 10 year or even longer surrender fee, and for some reason you have to get your money out, you're going to take the loss on it.
And we particularly find this a problem when we're dealing with long-term care issues, nursing homes and so forth, because we have to cash those policies in order to take a benefit of the benefits that are available, and that means those early withdrawal charges are not in the future, they're now.
They're now. That client will definitely take that loss, and they really don't have any choice.
As always, thanks for taking time to appear on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just as simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.